What's wrong with me? You've asked that question your entire life, and today you're going to understand why you never got an answer. You were the unliked child, not unloved necessarily, but unliked. And if you know the difference, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You'd walk into a room and watch people's faces change. Not with anger, not with cruelty, just disappointment. Like your presence was something to tolerate, not celebrate. Maybe it was at home. Maybe it was at school. Maybe it was both. But there was this feeling, this constant awareness that people were happier when you weren't there. You weren't doing anything wrong. You weren't misbehaving. You were just existing. And somehow that was the problem. Other kids seemed to move through the world effortlessly. They were wanted, chosen, included, and you? You were the afterthought, the one people forgot to invite, the one whose name got left off the list. And when you did show up, there was this weight. This sense that you had to justify your presence, that you had to earn the right to take up space. The worst part? There was nowhere you could go where people were genuinely happy to see you. So you learned something devastating, that maybe the problem wasn't them, maybe the problem was you. When a child is consistently treated as unwanted, they don't think, these people don't see my value. They think, I don't have value, because children assume that how they're treated is what they deserve. So you internalized it. Every time someone sighed when you spoke, every time plans were made without you, every time you sensed that familiar shift in energy when you entered a space, each moment on its own was survivable. But together they formed a belief so deep it became part of your identity. Something is fundamentally wrong with me. Not, I made a mistake, but something at your core, something unchangeable, something that makes you inherently difficult to like. And here's what no one tells you: it doesn't go away, it just gets quieter, more sophisticated. It learns to hide. You grew up, you left those environments, you built a life that looks fine, maybe even successful. But inside, you're still that child, the one scanning every room for signs of rejection, the one waiting for people to realize they don't actually want you around. This is the scar, not a memory, a lens, one that colors every interaction, every friendship, every moment someone shows you kindness. Because when someone is nice to you, you don't think I'm valued, you think they don't know me yet. You think they'll figure it out eventually. You think I should leave before they realize. You've spent your entire adult life waiting for the other shoe to drop, for people to see what everyone else saw, that thing about you that makes you undesirable. And the exhausting part? You can't even name what that thing is, because it was never about something you did. It was about something you were. So you adapted. You became hypervigilant. You learned to read the room perfectly, to detect the slightest shift in someone's energy, to sense when you've overstayed your welcome before anyone has to tell you. You became an expert at managing other people's comfort. You learned to make yourself small, to not ask for too much, to disappear before you become a burden. Or you went the other direction, you became exceptional. You achieved, you excelled. Because if you couldn't be liked, maybe you could be undeniable. Maybe if you were successful enough, useful enough, people would keep you around even if they didn't actually enjoy your company. But neither strategy worked. Because the wound isn't about what you do, it's about who you are. Someone invites you somewhere, and your first instinct isn't excitement, it's anxiety. You wonder if they really want you there. You rehearse what you'll say. You plan when to leave so you don't overstay. You prepare for the moment when you'll realize you don't actually fit, or you just don't go, because it's easier to decline than to sit somewhere and feel the familiar hollow ache of being present but not belonging. And when people do show up for you, you can't fully receive it, because part of you is waiting for them to change their mind, waiting for the moment they realize you're not worth the effort. So you keep people at a distance, not because you don't want connection, but because connection has always led to rejection, and you'd rather be alone by choice than be alone because someone decided you weren't enough. But here's what you don't want to admit. You've become them. Not cruel, not intentional, but you exclude yourself before anyone else can. You reject connection before it rejects you. You've internalized their job so thoroughly that you don't need them anymore. You do it to yourself. And here's what makes this permanent. You didn't just lose relationships. You lost the ability to believe in them. You didn't get to experience unconditional belonging. The kind where you exist in a space and feel wanted without having to earn it. You didn't get to learn that being yourself is enough. You didn't get to trust that love is safe. You lost those things. And the absence carved out something hollow inside you. A space where confidence should be, where self-worth should live. And now you're trying to build a life on a foundation that was never poured, trying to trust people with a nervous system that learned trust is dangerous, trying to believe you're worthy with a voice in your head that's been telling you otherwise since childhood. And the cruelest part? Nobody sees this. You've gotten so good at hiding it. You smile, you function, you show up. People think you're fine. They don't see the effort it takes, the constant monitoring, the weight of carrying a belief about yourself that you never chose but can't seem to shake. They don't know that when they laugh, you wonder if they're laughing at you, that when they go quiet, you assume it's something you said, that when they cancel plans, you believe it's because they realize they don't actually like you. This is what it means to be the adult who was the unliked child. You carry this quiet, relentless shame, the subtle kind that hums beneath everything, the kind that tells you that you're fundamentally flawed in a way you can't see, but everyone else can. And no matter how much time passes, no matter how far you get, the scar remains. Because this isn't about evidence. This isn't about logic. This is about what your nervous system learned when it was still forming. When rejection wasn't just an experience, it was your reality. And that kind of learning doesn't get overwritten easily. It stays, embedded, waiting to be triggered by any moment that echoes the original wound. A cancelled plan, an unanswered text, a conversation where everyone seems engaged except with you. And when those moments happen, you're not an adult anymore. You're that child again, the one who learned that something about them makes them hard to like, the one who tried so hard to figure out what it was and couldn't. And here you are now, reading this, recognizing yourself in these words, realizing that this thing you've been carrying has a shape, a name. You were the unliked child, and you're still carrying it, not as a memory, but as a wound, one that shapes how you move through the world, how you interpret every interaction, how you hold yourself back from the connection you desperately want. You didn't create it. It was given to you, by people who should have made you feel wanted, by environments that should have been safe, by a childhood that should have taught you that you matter, but instead taught you that you don't. The voice that tells you you're unlikable doesn't come from outside anymore, it comes from inside. And that's so much harder to escape. And you've been carrying it alone. Because how do you explain this to someone? How do you say, I don't believe people actually like me without proving the point? You can't. So you stay quiet. You carry it. You manage it. And somewhere deep down, in a place you don't like to look, you're still that child. The one who learned that something about them was wrong. The one who spent their entire life waiting for someone to tell them what it was, but no one ever did. They just left. And you're still here, still wondering, still carrying the question they never answered. What is it about me that makes me so easy to leave?